Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Everquest Old School. And tonight we are going to be playing my Shadow Knight. He is still level 2, but he is almost level 3. And I believe we're going to be able to get him to level 3 on this episode. Yeah, he's so close. One more kill will probably do it. Maybe 2, depending on the level of the kill. Let's see, what is this? Level is even to me, so level 2 on the Spiderling. Now, a thing I didn't mention on the last couple videos is that spider silk is worth quite a bit of money, but spiderling silk I don't believe is worth anything other to a vendor. Now, they do drop two different kinds, obviously, spider silk and spiderling. Aw, crap. Got two guys here. Hopefully that other guy's even and not yellow to me. I think we can handle two evens. Two yellows? Probably not. I do got some fairly decent armor on, which I showed you on the last episode. If you're interested in that, you can check that out. You know, it's basically just a little bit of ring mail mixed in with like 1 or 2 pieces of bronze. I think it's only 1 piece of bronze, to be honest. And then some weird pieces of like cloth and oh crap, another one? Come on. One more will get us our level. So we want to kill this guy. He's going to be yellow. Yeah, he sure is. I'm getting attacked by 3 of them. No! We're not dying. No! Now, the thing to be worried about here, though, is even if you get to the guards, they may not help you out in time, so you kind of want to zone it, because the creatures will keep coming after you. Let's see. Yeah, see. No! Holy crap. That was close, guys. That is why you do not want to stop and wait for these guys to kill it for you. You'd be better off just zoning it over here, because then the creatures won't be able to hit you. And a lot of the time, the guards, depending on where you're at, may not be the strongest in the world. Want to sell bone chips, police intel, motivated to sell, looking at 5 platinum a stack. Well, that's half price right there. So let's sit down for a second, because unlike later on in the game, when if you came to the server late, you may have noticed that as you leveled, you actually got full experience. Not full experience, that would be awesome, get a whole nother level. Now you get full life and full power when you level. That's something weird that I never really liked myself. They added that long after the game came out. In the old days, if you leveled, getting a level was a big enough deal. You didn't get that extra health. You didn't get that extra power. You know, it doesn't really make any sense why you would. To me, a level always kind of symbolized that you basically are just learning your class a little bit better, and so you're becoming a little bit stronger with that class. You know, but the character itself was never really affected. You got a little bit more hit points because you become a little bit more mature. You built up some muscle mass, maybe. At least, you know, in the role-playing aspect of my mind, when I thought about that kind of stuff, I was like, you know, it does make sense. If I fought, you know, bears all day long, and I was actually able to do that in the first place, but, you know, if you were able to do that, eventually at some point, there we go, our nice little level. At some point, you know, you would get better at it. You know, you didn't actually change yourself. You're not, you know, becoming a bigger guy or anything like that. You would just get better at it because you know, you have more experience with it. Same thing as somebody who works in IT or somebody who works at, I was going to say Walmart, but, you know, you should be better at that when you first start, because I can't imagine that's too difficult of a job. But, you know, whatever the case is, you know, you're going to slowly get better at that position because you've had that experience. And I kind of translated that over into my level. So I never really saw why you would get that life and that power. Although I know some people enjoyed that. It's not traditional. It's not original EverQuest, and so you won't find it here. You also won't find the rings around the creatures so that you will know which ones you're targeting. You won't get that little like column of weird magical energy that you know, encases your guy when he levels as well, letting everybody around you know. In this game, when you level, the only way anybody will know that you leveled is if you let them know. If you tell them yourself, ding, you know, in group chat or something like that, let them know that you leveled. It is kind of, oh, look at me, you know, I just leveled. But it also does serve a purpose, because if you have, say, like a level 17 person in your group and you're level, you know, 20-something, 22, 23, and they're right on the line of still getting experience by being in the group with you, and then you ding, letting them know that means that they can keep an eye out whether they're still going to get experience or not. And if they're not, then one of you guys will have to make the choice. It's usually the lower level one who will decide to lead, because for the most part you need a higher level person in your group to do the things you want to do. But depending on the class, that may make a big difference too, because if you have no healer and the healer's the low level and he decides to leave, the group may decide to leave with him, which means basically they're booting you from the group. You know, they're disbanding, and then they're going to rejoin later on when you're no longer there because they don't really have much of a choice. You know, you have to have that healer, you have to have that tank. There was a video I was shooting just the other day over in Unrest where there wasn't very many people on, and we couldn't find a tank for anything. And so we just basically sat at the entrance, not able to do anything because nobody there could take the hits. You know, we had 2 healers, we had 2 clerics, and I guess suppose, you know, one of the clerics could have tanked. I did mention that and was laughed at hilariously as it was a joke. But, you know, technically you could because we had bronze armor on. We wouldn't have done very well at it. I guarantee you that would have been a horrible, horrible time for me to do that because I do not want to tank with my cleric. I know some people out there talk about the warrior clerics, and I've mentioned this before. Not really something I'm into, but it was an option. But we went ahead and passed on it because we just wanted to tank. Any tank, didn't matter if it was a warrior or a shadow knight or even a bard would have done, you know, in a pinch. So we just kind of sat there and waited for it. So it's not just healers that are the sought-after ones. You have to have certain classes. You just have to have somebody who can take the hits. And you usually almost always have to have somebody who can heal. There are a few, you know, exceptions to the rule, for any rule in this game, basically, that you can get away without a healer if you have a whole bunch of people with Bind Wound up to, you know, their max, and they have a whole bunch of bandages on them, and the enemies don't hit too hard, and that you can get single pulls. And yeah, there's a lot of butts in that scenario right there. But it does actually happen from time to time, so that's why I'm mentioning it. It's not one of those weird ones that you're just never going to see. You'll see groups like that on occasion. It's just they're not very efficient, and they have to watch how many they pull. They have to be very, very careful, and if anything goes wrong, you know, somebody dies. And so that's why people want that healer, because it gives them that extra little leeway where they don't really have to worry too much whether, you know, they get an extra ad. Well, that's good. We want the extra experience. You know, they don't have to be like, oh, okay, everybody run, we're gonna die. You know, something like that. So I don't know. It's just it depends on what your play style is and how big of a risk you're willing to take for the experience. You know, if you've been sitting at the zone entrance to say Karnor's Castle for the last 6 hours waiting for a group, and that may sound ridiculous for some of you guys sitting there for 6 hours. In the old days when this game first came out, that was like a common thing for people to sit there and wait for groups. Now, you wouldn't be sitting at the entrance the whole time because KC, you know, it's Train Central. You're going to be zoning quite a bit waiting for groups, but you would still be there at the entrance. Hold on a second, guys. I'm going to turn the sound down slightly because that is ridiculously loud. Sorry about that, guys. That was just crazy loud. The music in the background, at least in my headset coming over, I couldn't even hear myself think, let alone you know, come up with something to talk about because that was just blaring in my ears. I do love the sound, but not so much that I feel like I'm going to go deaf in the next, you know, 4 seconds from that constant chattering and stuff. This is a very, very noisy forest, considering it's supposed to be like this evil place. But if you're playing it on like a, you know, actual TV or something like that with speakers or surround sound, oh my God, is this place creepy. I want to do some Halloween episodes or something, go to some pretty creepy places, but the more I think about it, the more I realize that I've pretty much already gone to all the creepy places. Like this place, Befallen, Unrest, Mistmore, I pretty much hit all those places already, and I've done it before Halloween gets here. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to play some other games that are, you know, kind of scary to some people. And I say scary to some people because I've never been the type of person who gets, you know, scared of movies or really even gets that shock value. I'm kind of sitting there watching the movie most of the time because I've been, you know, dragged along by a friend who really, really enjoys horror movies. Like my brother used to. He used to love horror movies. And I would go with him every so often, and I'd be sitting there with like this weird, confused look on my face of, yeah, that's fake. Okay, something about to pop out now. Yeah, that's incredibly fake. Okay, this movie sucks. Where's the storyline, right? I mean, there's no story. Basically, every horror movie can be summed up with there's a group of people die, and the movie. You know, nothing else happens in between. You know, people may, you know, get butt naked because that seems to be a staple of horror movies nowadays as well. So hopefully I can find a game that has that horror aspect, but has a storyline in it. Because as a writer, I guess I'm just drawn to that more than most people. If it can't capture my imagination, if it can't capture my attention without all the blood and guts, then it's not going to capture it with it, because I'm not even drawn to that in the first place. So, but I know some people out there love that kind of stuff. My not my oldest brother, but my second oldest brother loves those Saw movies, and I'm like, I tried watching those things. It made me want to throw up. I mean, some people like that snuff film kind of aspect of movies. I look at those and wonder, what's going on in your mind when you want to watch that kind of stuff? Because I don't get it. But I'm not dishing anybody or dissing anybody, that watches those. My personal preference is I don't get it. I'm sure there's people out there who don't get movies that I watch. I like a lot of comedies, even the silly, stupid kind of Adam Sandler comedies and things of that sort. I'll still watch those. I know a lot of people don't like his comedy, and he's hit and miss with me on a lot of his movies, but he's a hilarious comedian, and I'll watch him. I'll watch Doug Benson. For those of you who haven't seen his stuff, you should check that out on YouTube, or I believe he has a few shows on like HBO or something like that. Way back when he was a little bit bigger than he is now, because he's been around for a while. I even heard one interview where he was talking about how he had been on Star Search back in the day. And yeah, I'm showing my age a little bit more again, but Star Search, for those of you who are not familiar with it, basically the gist of it was the original American Idol, but 1,000 times better and with more respect, in my opinion, because I don't really like modern TV, to be absolutely honest. I find a lot of the shows are very, disrespectful to the people who are on them. Star Search, if you came on and, whether you were a little kid or an adult, whether you were having a bad day or not, if you didn't do as well as I guess maybe they were hoping, or the audience didn't like it or whatever, they didn't boo you off the stage. They didn't sit there and ridicule you and say you were the worst thing ever. They didn't tell you were the greatest either, but they didn't ridicule you. You got your chance to go out there. You either performed or you didn't. And did somebody drop something? That means he found something nice. But yeah, you got to perform, and if you did well, your career usually took off. If you didn't, not so much. So yeah, I kind of like that aspect, rather than 3 or 4 people standing up and saying, you know what, I really didn't like what you did, and that's my personal opinion. And the other 2 guys are going to completely disagree with me on every point that I just said, because again, it's just my opinion, and who really cares about my opinion? I'm just some guy, right? I mean, I don't expect any of you guys to care really about my opinion. I just talk about it, and maybe some of you guys agree, maybe some of you don't. Maybe we can start a conversation going on the topic, and find some movies that maybe both of us hadn't seen before that we still liked, or an exchange of information. But as far as like saying what I think is the way it should be, and you should lose or you should win because I'm voting that way, never really got that on those reality TV shows. The same thing with cooking. I've seen a few of those kitchen shows, and it's hilarious to me when people watch those and one judge stands up and he's like, I love this dish because it had that salty, sweet flavor. And the next judge literally stands up and be like, I hated this dish because it had too much salt and too much sweetness in it. You guys, you're not even on the same page. You're judges. You would think that there was some kind of standard that you're both looking for. But no, it's just personal preference. And because it's personal preference, then, if you win, you can't say that you're the best cook. You can say, I was the best cook for those 3 individual people. That's it. The other 65, thousand people in that city, or even more, depending on what city you're in, may completely and totally hate my food. But those 3 people right there, they loved it. And that's why I got this award. That's really all you can say about that. It doesn't prove anything to me. It doesn't say that you're a good cook. I do find them enjoyable to watch for the recipes and stuff, but I used to love watching like the Discovery Channel and the History Channel and stuff like that. And they've kind of turned into like the new MTV, to be honest, because they don't really show the learning shows that they used to. The informational shows where scientists are sitting there talking about going to the moon, and this is what we need, and this is what we have, and they show like all the steps in between, and you come away learning something. Where now it just kind of seems like, oh, okay, I can watch somebody chop some wood down in the backwoods. I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know what skill they need to do that. I don't know, how long it took them to get that way, and how they're going to chop that wood down with whatever axe they're using. And is there a certain method to not breaking the axe, or whatever the case is? Obviously chopping wood down is pretty simple, but there's other things that I watch, and I'm like, I would love to learn a little bit more, like, behind the scenes, and it just seems like they've kind of gone really, really, really far away from that aspect. I watch Face Off, for those of you who may like that one, but every time I watch that one again, I'm sitting there thinking, I wish they would go a little bit more away from the drama, and by a little bit, I mean completely and totally, just abandon the drama altogether, and show me how they're molding these things. What are the pieces that they're using? What are some of the issues they run into? Because that's something I wouldn't mind getting into. I wouldn't mind trying my hand at like molding Halloween masks and stuff like that during the holidays, and just, nothing professional, but something fun to try every once in a while, once a year or something, see if I can make my own, with the different foams they have. And they kind of show you an overview every so often, and when somebody's having an issue, they sometimes give you some pretty decent information on little techniques here and there, but they could go so much more in detail on that, and they just don't. Again, it's a little bit more about the drama, and I'm trying to be nice on that one. It's like 99% drama on that show, and I've never really been about the drama. Storyline is great. I'm gonna get away from that black bear. I don't want that guy to hit me. Not sure what level he is, but I'm pretty sure I can't take him yet. Not with a beetle. What is he, yellow? Yeah, that guy would have whooped my butt. You gotta watch out for these guys. Now, he is threateningly, so he will attack. And I'm pretty far away from guards. If you want to come over here and fight, my suggestion would be to come over here and fight over here at this little log, this little stump kind of fallen tree. It has tons and tons of enemies that fall down over here, or not fall down, but spawn over here, and it's pretty close to the entrance to your city. It's also close to the entrance to Lava Storm if you want to run there instead. And there's a few of those little rock guardians that actually roam around over here. So if you get into trouble, you're usually not too far away from some help. Plus, if you die, you're pretty close to the zone entrance. You can just run right back here and pick up your corpse and all the stuff that's on it, and you don't really have to worry too much. Now, those fire beetle eyes are used in a quest. I've done episodes for that. You're more than welcome to look for those and check that out. I believe it's called the Fire Beetle Eye something quest or whatever. It's pretty simple. I think you need like 8 of those fire beetle eyes. You turn them in, and you get a decent amount of experience. You can also do the moss snakes, which drop skins and I believe fangs. And I believe you needed both of those. You turn in a certain amount. It might just be the skins. It's been a while since I've done those. And you get a little bit more experience from that as well. So there's a few quests over here that you can do to kind of boost yourself in experience-wise every once in a while. And so you may want to stick with fighting those types of creatures while you're out here, if you find out about them early enough, So my suggestion would be, do a little bit of research on the zone you're starting in. Now, my way of playing is I don't really like to do research on games I'm playing. I like to find out about quests or about items in the game from people who are playing the game, or from myself just being in a certain zone. I like to keep it as unknown and as exciting as possible. I believe any game where you have to look things up online is a incomplete game. They should make it a little bit more available to you in the game. I mean, the whole purpose is that you want to log on and you want to have fun, not that you want to go online and do research. That can be kind of rough. First Dark Elf caster to give me his starter robe gets a gift at Neriok entrance. Second one gets a minor gift. I've actually done that. Somebody's done that earlier before on my Necro. And unfortunately, you have to let them know that your starter robe or your starter tunic is no trade. You can't give it to them. But they just want you to reply, basically. And once you do, they will look at what you have on, and they will see that you're a beginner. You have nothing on. You have a little crappy, rusty weapon. You may have some cloth that you've gotten off of skeletons or something like that. They just want to make sure you're not like a twink who's running over to, be greedy. They want to give something back to the community, probably because something's been given to them, or they're just a nice guy. And so they do that kind of thing. And it's an amazing thing. This server really is one of those few. Why don't these things stack? Spider legs. Spiderling leg. Okay. So there's 2 different kinds. What about this? Fire beetle leg. And fire beetle leg. Okay, so fire beetle legs do not stack, and the other ones do, but I happen to only have 1 of each. What are the odds of that? Let's go ahead and get this moss snake right here. How close are we to level, anyways? Not bad. 20%, or no, 40% in already. Now, my conversation has been all over the place on this episode. I was talking about TV, and then I talk about the game. Occasionally, not very often, I like to just change it up and talk to you guys about just random stuff that's going on. For the most part, I usually keep it to the game only, but if you guys enjoy hearing me just talk about, you know, the things that I like, you know, movies, TV shows, books, you know, things of that sort, let me know. I'll do it a little bit more often. But I tend to just try to give you guys as much information on the game as I have. I mean, I'm not the leading expert on this game by any means of the word. There's a lot of stuff that I don't know about, a lot of stuff that I'm constantly learning and relearning because I've been gone for the game for so long. Again, like I was saying on my last video, I am a little bit hesitant to get into the position as a puller again because it's been so long since I've done that. But from my memory, I remember that I absolutely, completely, and totally loved that aspect of the game. I miss it to this day, so I'm guessing that's not going to be an issue. I'm guessing once I, you know, start doing it and get my feet wet again and you know, ease my way back into it. Now, if I had to start on a level 50 character or level 60 character right off the bat, yeah, I might not want to do that, to be honest, because I'm going to get somebody killed. I'm going to get a lot of people killed. I'll probably do it quite a bit before I relearn everything I need to do. But since I'm starting from scratch and I'm starting at, you know, level 1 and working my way back up, that's going to give me time. And that's another reason that I actually wanted to talk to you guys about this. I almost forgot about it. Was that I was listening to Surican's, you know, podcast that he does on Twitch. For those of you who don't know who that is, he's a GM on the server who does a live stream every, I think it's like once a week or something like that. I've only been watching it for a few weeks now. So worth it. What did he do? Oh, he must have been one of the guys who got an item from that other guy. But yeah, he was talking about. Hold on a second. Let me kill this dude. Die! I don't want to die here. But yeah, he was talking about experience penalty for Shadow Knights, and he was saying, in his opinion, he is looking forward to the fact that it's going away with Velius. Me, on the other hand, I kind of wish that they might leave it in, and so I was thinking that you guys could start a campaign maybe, and you know, just not email them, not bug them, but maybe yeah, harass them a little bit. Maybe harass him a little bit till he comes to our way of thinking and keeps it in the game. And the main reason I want to, I'm sorry for the you know, noise every so often. My headset keeps falling off my head for some reason. But the main reason I want to keep it in the game is because as a Shadow Knight, it's a pretty hard class to play. You have to get the fatigue death down. You have to learn how to pull. You have to learn your limitations in tanking. You know, you gotta learn quite a few things. You gotta learn what spells to use and what your different roles are in the group. Because again, there are a ton of different ways you can play a Shadow Knight in a group depending on who's in it. And so your role will change all the time. And that's why I like the fact that they level slower, because it gives people a chance to learn that. Whereas if you're leveling just as quick as everybody else, or even faster than everybody else, then it's really going to suck, because you're going to get to a high level and you're going to start making these huge mistakes. I don't know if we're going to survive this. Let's see. We need a couple of hits. We need to hit this guy really hard. Let's move a little closer. Hopefully he doesn't hit us too hard. He's actually hitting us. Dang it. Run it. Run, Forrest. We're not going to make it. Not going to make it. And you can see just how much. 10 points of damage twice because we turned our back to him. So again, you got to worry about that. Now there's a little cheat you can use. You can hold down the second mouse button and basically scroll sideways with your right arrow or your left arrow or whatever arrow you want to use. This allows you to slide, making it impossible, or almost impossible, I should say, for the enemy to actually hit you. You can see right here, he's not hitting me anymore. He was killing me before. He would have killed me. I hate using this. I don't like it at all. Oh, there he goes. He's hitting me now. Kill it. There we go. Nice. So yeah, I don't like using that little technique, this one right here, where you kind of slide while you run. I think it's a cheat. It was in original EverQuest, and I know a lot of poolers swear by it, and they can't imagine, you know, actually pooling without it. And I'm stupid for attacking this thing with only 12% life, but it's pretty easy to kill. After this, I will have to sit down though. We'll run back to the base so that we're nice and safe over there, and we'll end the episode. Oh, we got Bind Wound, or Bandage. We'll go ahead and eat that ration. Close that down. Come in here. Where's our Bind Wound? There it is. And I will show you guys how to use that real quick. So let's hit Bind Wound. Your guy will go down on one knee, and he will start to heal himself up. And you will see he's at 16%. And as soon as he comes up, it should move to like 20% or something like that. Yeah, so there you go. So he got 3% off of that, but he did use the bandage in the process. You kind of have to have quite a bit of those bandages. They don't weigh a whole lot, but they do take up quite a bit of space depending on how many you're going to get. So keep that in mind, that you're going to go through those incredibly quickly. So if you're going to be going off soloing by yourself and you don't really have a way to heal yourself, Shadow Knights do get away later on. They get that Siphon Life. In my experience, though, as a Shadow Knight, if you're soloing by yourself, you can't use Siphon Life as a heal spell. You can only use it as a spell to give yourself a little bit more life during combat. Because the moment combat's over, you can't heal yourself anymore. You need that fight to be going on so you could suck life away from the enemy. And if you cast that spell on another enemy to suck life away from him, he immediately starts to attack you, and you almost always lose more life than you got out of it in the long run. So yeah, it doesn't really work all that well. So we're going to come back over here. We're going to end the episode, guys. I want to thank you all for watching. If you, this is the guy who was giving stuff away, I think. Maybe not. Nah, I think it was a different guy, actually. What level were these guys? Oh, they're both red to me, but that's not a surprise. Everybody's red to me at this level. So we got a 51 Cavalier, which is a Paladin, I believe. 29 Enchanter, 11 Cleric, a 50 Monk. Iskar. Oh, I wonder what he's doing over here. He must be going to town. There's really no other reason for a high-level person to be... Well, unless they're coming from Solus B. I forgot, yeah, guys. He might be coming from Solus B and just traveling through this zone. Let's go ahead and sit down. Your health goes up a little faster that way. But again, guys, if you do enjoy these videos, hit that little like button, subscribe. Definitely helps grow my channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, if you have any comments that you want to leave below, if you see something that I left out, any SK wants some crap weapon offhand, well, not me, because I think I have a pretty good one. I'll let somebody else take it. But yeah, thanks again for watching, guys, and we will catch you on the next episode. Hey guys, I'm going to toss this in right at the very end. I do apologize for that, but this guy right here in front of me decided to do an OOC asking if anybody wanted these items for a Shadow Knight. Nobody came to him right away. Then he was saying that he was just going to toss them if nobody wants them. And the first Shadow Knight to target him and hail would get him, so I went ahead and just hailed him. He gave them to me. I thought that was an incredibly nice move, so I want to give a shout out to him. I don't know how to spell his name. They look like I's, maybe L's. I tried pretty much every variation. Couldn't send him a tell. Use offhand and the other one. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and end it here, guys. Again, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.